Right now I'm just feeling some anxiety because I'm about to meet with Rabbi Langer, and it's 20 years after the fact. I met him 20 years ago when he was the first person I ever came out to, the first rabbi, the first person. He told me, "You're a Jew, we love you." And then he told me to write a letter to the Rebbe and to seek therapy. And so I did those things. And here we are 20 years later. I spent 12 years trying to change.
Hey, David.
Hi. How are you?
Simcha. That's Simcha. I can't see my glasses. I can't see. How you doing,
Assalamu
man?
alaikum.
Good to see you.
Wait a second. Nice to
Assalamu
see you.
alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
How you doing, my friend?
He's such a sweet man, because that's the reason when I first met him, I remember just being impressed by his Süßkeit, his sweetness, and he's really sweet eyes. He's just really a sweet man.
So what's doing with your holy life?
So actually, I feel nervous now, but. I guess just because I'm thinking about how I was then. So, and as you know, that I flew out here 20 years ago to tell you that I was gay. And then you proceeded to tell me to write a letter to the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and you gave me the name of a therapist in Sunnyvale, California, and also the name of someone that you knew in Chicago that I could speak with. And needless to say, it wasn't the best advice.
You aren't necessarily. Are you still looking for ways
To change?
Yeah.
No,
You aren't.
because I don't think it's possible. I can't have sex with women. It's just inappropriate. It's like you having sex with men. I can't do it. It's just not in me.
Unfortunately, you have to go through the heartache of being in this position, having these feelings, and coming to grips with what God has to say about it. To have sexual relationships with another man is something that's a prohibition. I don't blame you for wanting to have acceptance of something that's so much a part of your life and such an emotional part of your being.
Do I live my life alone, with no partner, with no loving relationship? Is according to this halacha, is that the right way that I'm supposed to lead my life?
Well, I've been taught that we're not given anything that we can't have control over. It may not be easy sometimes.
You're talking about sublimating my homosexual feelings to have sex with a woman? So how about I would tell you in the same vein, can't you sublimate your feelings for women and channel them into developing relationships with men?
I sublimate my feelings for women every day.
Yeah, but you channel them with your wife. You have that with your wife. What you're telling me is to put in the plug or lock the door and throw away the key. What am I going to be, 95 years old and saying Tehillim and eating dates and doing somersaults and doing rubber bends and holding my breath and studying Gemara till I can't, what? Must I live a celibate halachic existence by myself with friends? Is that my lot? Is that what I'm supposed to have in this life?
If you're only inclined to have sexual relationships with men,
Right.
and nothing else works for you,
Right.
then yes, you have to be celibate. It sounds cheap. Here we are, first time sitting down in 20 years. But I do respect you and care for you and respect you as a Jew. Aside from telling you to go back to the therapist and I mean, what?
Would you today still advise me to go back to therapy to change?
I don't know. I don't know if I would tell you that right now. I don't think that's what you want to hear right now.
I want to hear how you feel.
Okay, right now, I would not tell you to go back to therapy right now. That's the way I feel.
Because?
Because it's been such a negative experience for you. I want to throw you back into that.
It is not possible for the Torah to come and ask a person to do something which he's not able to do. Theoretically speaking, it would be better for the homosexual to live a life of celibacy. I just would argue one thing. It's completely impossible. It doesn't work. The human force of sexuality is so big that you can't, it can't be done.
So the Jew who is gay by choice, I would pound my fist on the table and say it's a Yetzer Hara, work like mad to overcome it. Just like I work like mad, hopefully, to overcome some of my Yetzer Haras. You work like mad to overcome yours. A Jew who is, as we might say, wall-to-wall gay, so realistically, he's not going to be necessarily receptive to that message. So I will hold his hand, figuratively, metaphorically, and do the best I can to give him strength to serve Hashem where he is capable of so doing.
Look, I really believe that there are more and more Orthodox rabbis who've come into contact with people who are gay as the situation has become more open. And like everything else, when you don't know, you tend to demonize and almost dehumanize. When you know, you've met the individual, you've seen the sincerity of his prayer, you can no longer demonize or dehumanize. So you have to just love and help. And that's what I think, in the final analysis, that's what Judaism is all about.
I wrote a note, as I always do, in preparation for going to the Kotel. On previous notes that I've written, I used to ask God to help to change me. I asked God to please help me to be happy being who I am, being gay, and to be at peace with it. And that I hope that and that you, and I wrote a capital U, that you should be pleased with me in this respect. I just want to know that I can have a relationship with Hashem as a Jew completely, including this part of my being.
But what about the women who are not being loved? Orthodox gay closeted men are marrying women who often have no idea about what's going on in the minds and hearts of the men that they're married to. Women who might never be loved on every level in all the ways that they hope to be. Let's think of our daughters. Would Orthodox parents want their daughters marrying men who are struggling with these questions? Most would say no.